a plan. So good morning, everybody. As was previously noted, I hope everybody is dry and warm on this rather rainy day. We will start with roll call and Commissioner Seworth present.
Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Evelyn present.
Good morning, Noam Thiene, Commissioner present.
Levitt, Commissioner present.
Good morning, Magdalena Navarro, Commissioner present.
Yay.
Miss Prescott, it's all on you. It's on you.
We're waiting.
Kimberly Prescott, Commissioner present.
And welcome to your first meeting.
Yep.
Welcome.
We saw you doing like the double dutch thing, right? Like, do I jump in? Do I go?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was an alphabetical order, if it was a specific order that we were going in. So
No, it's more of a free for all, to be honest with you.
I think we got all the commissioners. So Cleveland Horton, Executive Director, present.
Dora Hughes, General Counsel, present.
Yolanda Saunier, Deputy Director, present.
Nicolette Young, Assistant Director, present.
Candace Crenshaw, Director of Education and Outreach, present.
And good morning, Spencer Dove, Special Assistant to the Executive Director, present.
Alicia Bell, Civil Rights Supervisor, present.
Is that everybody?
Yeah, that's all staff.
Excellent.
It looks like we do have. Are there members from the public present?
That was going to be my next question.
Yes, my name is Crystal Frederick Mitchelltree, and I am actually observing today from the public. Yes.
No problem.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
And good morning. I'm Natalie Holder, and I'm also observing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll open it up for public comments later if there's anything that you want to comment on as we go through our meeting. So welcome.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So for my chairperson's report, and actually this is a little bit intentional based on some of the things I know we want to discuss today. I just wanted to take a moment and reflect on our just ending Maryland legislative session. It was absolutely one that was interesting, and as always, there were a lot of bills out there. Some of the more interesting things that occurred where the General Assembly passed a bill to establish the commission to study potential reparations for slavery in Maryland. This is more holistic in what it's going to look at. So it's not just things like financial compensation, but also tuition waivers and other ways to be able to address those impacts and the systemic harm that was caused. Also, there was the enactment of the Expungement Reform Act and the Second Look Act, which expand opportunities for individuals to have their criminal records expunged, which I know many of you will remember. There's also been some other legislation which did not pass, which talked about criminal records as potential, I guess, tertiary dimension of diversity when it comes to employment. So I thought those were interesting. I'd also like to take a moment and welcome our new commissioner. Commissioner Prescott, do you have a preferred way to be addressed?
it's not Kim. Anything else?
Understood, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I hope you don't mind. I did a quick Google since we have yet to have a moment to be able to connect, which I very much look forward to. And I apologize that we haven't done so quite yet. But as I understand it, you are from Columbia, Maryland, and that you are the founder and president of Prescott HR. My understanding is you and Commissioner Levitt, Eileen, know each other or know of each other since you are both in HR. That you have served in leadership roles, including the leadership Howard County and Community Foundation of Howard County, and that you have a commitment to not only civil rights, but also community engagement. And I apologize that that's a little light on details, but I promise I'll flesh it out when we have an opportunity to talk. So I
No
hope that
problem,
that's
but I will say that I am from Augusta, Georgia. My business is based in Columbia, Maryland, but I'm from Georgia and I own that every day.
excellent. Understood, and thank you. And since we do have a new commissioner and I have everybody's attention, and you guys know I do this every year, I am going to remind everybody that we have a gala this year, that we are no longer on a biennial schedule. This is going to now be an annual event, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Cleveland?
Correct.
Yes. So the 2025 Civil Rights Gala is themed Looking Ahead, No Turning Back, transforming challenges into opportunities, which I think all of us can agree is something that is topical and important. Oh, Gina did join. Hi, Gina. The event is scheduled to take place on Saturday, August 23rd. It will again be at Maryland Live. Early bird tickets apparently are available, and I will encourage all of us, if you are able to attend, to please do so to show our support, not only for the commission itself, but also for the more the larger civil rights community and those who work in that community in our state and elsewhere. And then the reason for the recap is part of our new business is to talk about our approach and our strategies for the next legislative session, because, you know, these things just keep on turning. So hopefully everybody will have an opportunity to communicate, and we can start thinking about what that'll look like for this upcoming year and then also more long term. And that concludes my report, other than to check in with everyone, make sure that everyone is doing well, and to see if there's anything that anybody needs.
I'm doing well, Madam Chair. Thanks for the check-in.
It is truly my pleasure. Okay, I will turn it over for staff reports. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody is off to a great morning, aside from the rain. But without the rain, we wouldn't appreciate the sunshine. So good morning, everybody. Two quick things. First, I wanted to acknowledge our newest commissioner, Ms. Prescott. So I also wanted to just take the time to acknowledge and welcome her to the commission. We are happy to have you. I did have the pleasure of having a brief conversation with Ms. Prescott, and we always appreciate those who just jump right in, right? So she appears to be one that is willing and able to jump right in, and we are absolutely willing and able to allow you to. So we look forward to working with you. We look forward to the skill set that you'll bring to this already diverse and wonderful board of commissioners that we have here at the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. So I just wanted to, on behalf of staff, just extend our welcome to you, and we look forward to working alongside you here at the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. Also wanted to acknowledge, I noticed that she didn't change her name on her Zoom title, but I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Seworth, right? So we wanted to congratulate her on completing her doctorate, and we are extremely proud of the accomplishment. We know that many of us were witnesses to you kind of going through that process, right? And trying to chair this commission. So we just wanted to take a moment to congratulate you on that wonderful accomplishment of now, again, and we always want to now recognize you as Dr. Seworth.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
So I think as a staff here at the commission, we can really continue to kind of monitor the current human and civil rights landscape and the environment under the current administration. I think it's important that we all recognize and understand exactly what's going on. We've all been kind of waiting in this civil rights landscape for the ball to drop. I mean, we've seen a number of different executive orders. We've seen the rollback on DEI things, and really kind of waiting to see when are we going to directly feel the impact of this current administration. We know that recently there was about approximately 78 FIP grants that were eliminated, and those are Fair Housing Initiative partners through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Most of these organizations are nonprofit entities that focus on housing, counseling, landlord-tenant issues. They do a lot of testing. So 78 of those grants were eliminated, and that was about a reduction of approximately $33 million. We are potentially anticipating that all FIP funding will be eliminated during the next budget cycle, which begins on July the 1st. And that is going to be critical to the fair housing services provided to those within our state and really within the entire country, because many of those nonprofit organizations that, again, focus on housing counseling, testing, landlord-tenant issues will become non-existent as a result of losing that funding. So we are keeping our ear to what's happening in the FIP environment. Us ourselves, we are a FAP, a Fair Housing Assistance Partner. There has been no indication thus far that there is going to be any elimination of FAP funding or reduction in the FAP budget. But again, we are keeping abreast of that as we continue to move forward. Me and Yolanda have started having conversations around what can the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights do for our citizens here in the state to kind of figure out what services can we think about providing in lieu of not having some of those FIP organizations being present. So whether that's testing, whether there's some of those landlord-tenant issues, we are in conversation now to kind of determine to what capacity we may be able to lift up some of those services and ensure that the citizens still get the services that they need around fair housing. I also wanted to just take a moment to really highlight two significant enforcement efforts, and I know that I'm sure that Yolanda and potentially Glendora will probably mention these in their reports as well. So I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to steal their thunder, but I do want to take the time to acknowledge the first. We've had the largest financial conciliation in our agency's history over the last 30 days. So I do want to highlight Alicia Bell, who was able to conciliate an employment matter that we had to the tune of about $500,000. And that conciliation really does exemplify an historic milestone for our agency because, one, it is the largest financial conciliation that we've been able to reach as an agency, but it also just sends a message, right, that we are moving forward aggressively as an agency. We are holding folks accountable, and we are protecting folks even in this uncertain environment that we find ourselves in. So I do want to take a moment just to congratulate Alicia Bell in front of this body and thank her for the great work that she did in getting that case to conciliation. So Alicia, I just want to say hats off to you. Great job. And you now have written your name in the legacy of the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights by achieving that historic milestone. So I just wanted to give you a special shout out for that.
Thank you.
No problem. You deserved it. Thank you. So the second one is we've, as we think about fair housing, we know that we are seeing a surge in source of income complaints coming through our agency. We did have a fair housing complaint in litigation. Well, I don't say we did because it still is in litigation. But we did reach a stage where there was an order issued by the court in the fair housing case that Terrence Artis and our legal department litigated. And we are thankful for him. It was just a 2 or 3 year process, a very difficult process. And again, I'm sure Glendora will illuminate on in this particular case as well. But again, I just wanted to highlight Terrence and the great work that he did in terms of seeing this through. We aren't finished yet, but we are a lot closer than what we were 2 to 3 years ago. So I think it's on appeal, and I won't use the terminology because it's legal terminology, so I'll allow Glendora to talk about that when she talks about it. But it is significant because this case also sends a message to those within the real estate industry that we do take source of income seriously. We are going to hold folks accountable who violate source of income and any fair housing statute through our enforcement efforts. So again, we just want to make sure that as a commission, we are letting folks know that we're still here and that if folks are, again, violating folks' civil rights, that we are going to again enforce our statute to the fullest extent possible. So again, kudos to Alicia and Terrence for again leading the way in that particular area. We are also working on increasing our efforts to issue commission-initiated complaints. You all know that we come before you. We've come before you a number of times recently to have you all sign off and going through the process of commission-initiated complaints. We are going to continue to do that because we do believe by us issuing commission-initiated complaints, it does allow us as an agency to be more proactive in protecting vulnerable populations. It also gives us an opportunity to examine industry-wide practices. We know that there are a number of different things going on within a number of different industries, and we want to make sure that when we're hearing of information, that we are taking the stance that we are going to hold folks accountable, right? So if it's bad practice, we're going to hold folks accountable. If you're violating civil rights, we are going to hold you accountable, and we can do that through our commission-initiated complaints. So you all will begin to see us coming to you all more frequently saying, hey, we need you all to sign off on these commission-initiated complaints. Because again, we do want to send that strong message that we are here and we are going to ensure that folks' civil rights are protected. We are also internally continuing to kind of figure out how we can better streamline our processes, enhance more of our inter-unit collaboration. And a big part of that is going to be AI, right? We know that every organization is talking about AI to some level. And the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights is also doing that. So all of our leadership team, we recently attended an AI discussion and trying to figure out how we can embed AI in our processes. Myself, Yolanda, and Glendora met with the AI company on Friday just to get a potential demo of what that could look like for the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. And we are continuing to really figure out how do we leverage technology to be more efficient. This is not about us, we hear the part of the fear around AI in terms of reducing jobs or eliminating jobs. But this is exactly not the process that we're going through. We're really trying to figure out how can we service the public at a much higher level by leveraging technology, by leveraging AI. And we do anticipate of being able to do that within the next 6 months or so. Again, we are going through a number of demos and demonstrations to kind of figure out what it looks like for us. The number one priority for us is safeguarding the information to make sure whatever technology that we use, that the information that we put in is going to be safeguarded, and that folks won't have access to any and all information. So we'll keep you all abreast as we kind of go through the process of figuring out how we're going to embed AI and in what process, and we'll make sure we update you all as we continue to move forward. Two other key points to our internal efforts really is around leadership development and professional development. One of the things that I've articulated to all of our leadership team really is that in order for us to lift our staff up, right, in order for them to lift their ceiling up, we have to increase our ceilings. So we are making a significant investment in leadership development across the board. Everyone here from a leadership standpoint is embracing and embarking on our leadership cohort around learning more about leadership together. And they always say, if you want to learn something, teach it. So each of our leaders is responsible for teaching all of us as a leadership team different leadership aspects. And we've been going through that for the last, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks. And we'll continue to do that so that we can make sure that we're lifting each other up together and becoming better leaders together. We also have professional development here now at the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights, where all of our employees from top to bottom on Fridays from 1 to 2, we embark in a professional development hour. So there's no emails, there's no phone calls. It gives everybody in the agency the time to focus on their own professional development, in which they've identified with their supervisor, kind of what their career path is, their career journey, and that professional development is going to be directly tied to their career path and their career journey here at the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. So again, it's our efforts to make sure that we are lifting all of our ceilings up together and becoming better so that we can better serve the public as we continue to move forward. Chair talked about our wonderful Civil Rights Gala, right? So I appreciate her advertisement, right? Especially because it was free, right? So we appreciate it, right? So we do want to make sure that all of our commissioners buy a table or 2, right? You're not limited, right? So buy as many tables as you like, right? Again, our Civil Rights Gala is Saturday, August the 23rd, 2025. Again, it will be at the hall at Maryland Live. We will have Tamika Mallory there this year. And I don't want to say too much because I know Candace like Cleveland, that's my job, right? So I won't say anything else about the gala. I'll just ask, please buy a table again or 2. Tell your friends, have them buy a table or 2. We do want to make sure that we do sell out our gala as we normally do. The last thing I just wanted to mention is we do have our Maryland Commission on Civil Rights Employee Appreciation Cookout coming up this Friday. You all should have received an email with the information in regards to that cookout. Again, it's Friday, May 13th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will be at Sandy Point State Park. It will be in the Osprey Pavilion. So if you all are available to attend, we would love to see all of you all if possible. So with that, I will start. If there are any questions about my report, I am willing to take them at this time.
My only question, since you were doing advertising, was what was the cost of a table? Oh, Yolanda just responded.
Well, no, I didn't actually put the cost, and Candace can probably share that with us. I was just saying it depends on if you're buying a VIP table or if you're buying the general admission table. So the cost will.
We talking about Commissioner Evelyn, so we know he's talking about a VIP.
So we talking about VIP.
I'm a lowly public servant, so we know it's general for me, baby. General for me.
We know, but I'm sure that in her remarks, Candace will go through the ticket pricing, right? We got early bird and then regular pricing, and I'm sure Candace will go through all of that as she's going through her presentation as well. So she'll be able to tell you all that information during her presentation.
All right, perfect. And I'm sure she'll break down the like layaway or the Affirm pricing as well.
I'm typing everything in the chat now, and then if you have any questions, we can talk offline.
Layaway.
Any other questions about my report?
Oh, I just want to say, Cleveland, Yolanda, and the team. I mean, the work you all are doing, I definitely appreciate how, in light of what this nation's going through, how you all are here standing in the gap. So, like, respect.
We appreciate that.
I know you said you would give more information in an update later about the specifics around AI, but high level, what were you envisioning? How were you envisioning AI to support the work that you're doing?
That's a great question, Commissioner Prescott. We are still trying to figure that piece out, right? Because one of the things I always say is, right, I'm not a tech guy, right? I do civil rights. So the best thing that we can do really is talk to those tech professionals about what we do and how we do it. And what we're really getting from them is what AI can do for us. So right now, what we've been talking about preliminarily is utilizing AI agents. We had a demo on Friday with an AI agent that will literally allow an individual to go online, click a button in terms of how you initiate an inquiry, and you engage the AI agent in a conversation, right? Just like you would a normal person. The AI agent will ask you questions, take the information from you, right? And be able to assess initially whether you've met the threshold to be able to get an intake interview, right? So normally that's what our office secretary does, right? So when somebody files something online, she gets an email with the PQ, which is our preliminary questionnaire. And then from there, she determines whether you met the threshold to be able to get an intake interview, like if it's timely, if you're a covered complainant, if it's a covered respondent, and the subject matter is within our jurisdiction. If all those criteria are met, then she schedules you for an intake interview. The AI agent will literally have the ability to do all of that in one, as well as schedule you for an intake interview, give you all that information during that particular conversation, and move forward. So that was the preliminary conversation that we had, was just to do a demo of how the AI agents work and what that would look like in real time. So we just continue to have those conversations and kind of figure out what are some of the steps that we can remove from staff and maybe leverage technology to allow our staff to be able to do a number of different things and service the public better.
And Cleveland, if I can just add to that, also putting on the website where we have the frequently asked questions, but they can actually chat and get those questions answered. So put in the question, what areas do you investigate? And, it will spout out an answer as opposed to having the full on chat that we had with the chat bot. It will also be a chat where people can go and get some of the frequently asked questions answered.
And we are continuing to work through and really identify our processes to some of these different tech companies so that they can really come back to us and say, look, this is where you can leverage AI, right? And then us trying to really figure out what we can do, what's the cost associated with it, right? Because we don't have unlimited funding. So really just trying to figure out what's the best that we can do within the constraints of our budget to make sure that we're leveraging technology to the best of our ability.
I made
I'm
sure
sorry.
not to get too excited on Friday because I knew whatever they're gonna come back with, we may not be able to afford the whole package. So I told myself, don't get too excited about the whole demonstration they did for us on Friday.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Commissioner Angela is in the waiting room, waiting to get access into the meeting.
Thank you.
No problem. And I see Ms. Holder, you have your hand up.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'd be remiss if I didn't follow up on the question around AI. I'm actually working with a firm on an agentic AI model regarding advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in organizations that have seen cuts, that have seen eliminations, but still need this work to be done. So I wanted to find out, what is the process for being able to have a firm present to the commission or present to you, Mr. Horton?
Just have them reach out, right? We are open to those who are looking to better service us based off of the needs that we have. So we can make sure I ask Spencer to put his contact information in the chat. You reach out to Spencer, he'll set the schedule up, and we'll meet and talk about what that particular firm can offer us, what we need, and then go from there. But it is completely open.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I guess I have a follow-up question regarding just your staffing in general. Given that, as you mentioned, there are a number of different, federal cuts that are happening in the employment space. What and how is the commission planning to supplement and be that stopgap for, people as well as organizations that are seeing these sorts of, attacks and the backlash to DEI?
No, that's a great question, Ms. Holder. I think us as an agency, individually, there's not a lot that we can do, right? One of the things that we are working with is the administration. We know that Governor Moore has instituted a number of different initiatives to protect federal employees and allow federal employees to potentially roll into state government when there are positions available. So we are looking to fill positions when they are available with those who are qualified, and potentially those within the federal government is really the best thing that we can do. As you know, Ms. Holder, we don't have authority over federal employees, but our job is to make sure that we can figure out what role we can play in trying to be a part of the stopgap. So identifying opportunities, especially for those, we know that initially there were a number of individuals in those civil rights offices within the federal government that lost their jobs. So we are trying to work with some of our local sister agencies as well to acknowledge and identify those positions that are available within our agencies that may be a good fit for some of those employees. But again, we are working directly with the administration and the initiatives of the administration to help those who have found themselves in difficult situations as a result of this administration to find additional employment.
Thank you.
No problem. And I know Commissioner Prescott asked, I think in the chat, I think I saw it pop up on my screen about the RFP. It really depends on the amount that needs to be expended, right? So it depends on the amount of the services that are being provided in terms of whether we need to issue a request for purchase or not. Commissioner Navarro.
Hello, everyone. And again, I want to join Jens and Evelyn in saying congrats to all the great work that you're doing currently with the situations that we're having on people being laid off. But specific to what else can this commission do? Are we joining in some of the lawsuits that are being effect for the layoff or massive layoff in agencies and how that is affecting Maryland altogether?
Yeah, so we haven't joined lawsuits because we don't have authority over federal agencies. We do know that one of our partners, obviously with the Office of the Attorney General, they have joined in a number of suits on behalf of the state. Right. So us as an agency, we haven't adjoined any of those particular lawsuits, again, only because of our authority. But I would say that we would be indirectly adjoined with those lawsuits because the Office of the Attorney General representing the entire state. So We are working closely with the Attorney General's office. We also meet with the administration. Myself, we have a track call with all the heads of every agency. We meet every Monday or Tuesday to discuss what's happening, the different lawsuits, the executive orders, and who's being impacted by that. So we are keeping our ear to the ground to know what's happening in real time. The AG's office is always keeping us abreast of the different lawsuits and what's going on, so we are aware of the information. So if there's a need for us and the ability for us to join a lawsuit, we will discuss it at that time. But that opportunity just has not presented itself as of yet, because again, our authority only lies here with the state. Most of those lawsuits are suing the federal government, and we don't have the authority to do that.
Okay, and then as a follow-up question, if there are individuals that are in the state of Maryland, these agencies are in the state of Maryland, and want to get some guidance from this group, from the Civil Rights Commission, is that something that the commission will be available to provide additional assistance, or you can't because they may be in federal agencies?
Well, it depends on what guidance they're looking for, right? You know, as a governmental agency, obviously, we're not allowed to give legal advice. So typically, our guidance really is about our processes, right, and how we handle complaints of discrimination. But again, that would be for someone that's covered by the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. If you're a federal employee, then you're not going to be covered by us because, again, that extends beyond our authority. So the answer to that is yes or no, depending upon what guidance they're looking for. If it's guidance about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, we absolutely will provide them guidance in reference to that. If it's guidance around how can they handle a particular issue that they have outside of our authority, then typically what we would do is we would recommend them to contact a different agency. We would provide them with potential names of agencies to contact that can better assist them. But we just don't want to. We just want to make sure that they're getting the most accurate information.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you so much.
No problem. There's also, to your question as well, Commissioner Navarro, we are working with the AG's office on a Know Your Rights. It started out as a brochure. It's more like a book now. It's probably about 40 to 45 pages. I think the last time I checked. And that will be coming out shortly. And that is being done by, again, I want to highlight Candace and the work that she did, her and her team, with providing a large amount of information for that Know Your Rights booklet that will go out shortly. And again, we are working in tandem with the Office of the Attorney General, and that will go out to the public shortly. And that will literally covers a little bit of everything, right? Housing, religion, voting, LGBTQ rights, immigrant rights. It's a whole host of different things. You can use the booklet as individual pages or a booklet as a whole. So we are looking forward to when we're able to actually issue that, but we do anticipate being able to issue that shortly.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
No
Looking
problem.
forward for that booklet.
Yep. And that will provide some more of the federal guidance that you're referring to Commissioner Navarro, that the AG's office is putting in there as well.
And if I may, and I'm sorry for monopolizing this, but if I may, would that booklet, I know it looks more like a book right now, be printed or somehow ways that we can print it? I was just thinking that making it available to some churches might be good, and how to make it available to other people.
I think initially it will be available electronically, but I think you raise a good point, and we'll have to determine what funds we'll have available to be able to print that en masse, to be able to get out, because the booklet is so large. We'll have to take that into consideration and figure out amongst both of our agencies, along with the administration, right? Because this is, even though it's really being done by the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights and the Office of the Attorney General, it's coming out on behalf of the administration, right? So the administration will ultimately kind of determine who is going to print it out and how is going to cover that cost. But we can definitely raise it as a question as we continue to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Seeing none, again, I thank you all, and I will pass it over to Yolanda.
All right. Good morning, commissioners, and good morning, everyone attending. I think Cleveland did my report. I'm done. No, uh, no. I wanted to start again and do another big congrats to Alicia as well. Alicia inherited, I guess, that case, and Alicia was able to jump right on in and, work on getting that settlement, and, and it was a fantastic, win for the complainant, and also, a fantastic message that is and was sent to the public about us not tolerating and allowing discrimination. So Alicia, thank you again. Very much appreciate you jumping in and being able to get the settlement that you were able to get for the complainant. So thank you.
Thank you,
Every-
Yolanda.
Oh, you're welcome, Alicia. Everyone's received the case processing data. We continue to receive a number of inquiries each month. A number of them, we have to continue to abort because they aren't related to the office, or we don't have jurisdiction for other reasons. We have, and I think this was shared, I think last month, that we paused taking transfers from EEOC for right now as we continue to get a hold on the backlog of cases that we have in intake. Our investigative team continues to work hard to try to get all of these cases investigated in a timely manner. And so we continue to work on processes and seeing how we can do better and make sure that we're serving the public in a more efficient way when we're doing our investigations. I think one of our meetings the past couple of months, we shared that we are building out the ADR unit. And so we have been, we have one person that is half dedicated to mediation. We have a couple of volunteers that have been helping, volunteer mediators, as well as an intern that has been helping us go through we have targeted the backlog and contacting the cases that have not yet been assigned and trying to see if they want to mediate their cases. We had 2 cases last month that settled in mediation, and we had a number of other cases that, a few other cases that settled because not settle, I'm sorry, they closed because the parties had filed in court. And so we are continuing to build up that ADR unit. We are thankful that the governor put into his budget for us to get additional positions to help with the backlog, as well as some other positions that were greatly needed. And so 2 of those positions are contractual positions in which we will be bringing 2 of the people into the ADR unit, which will continue to assist the growth of the ADR unit and be able to assist us and the public in making sure that these cases get mediated on a timely level, and with the hopes that we're able to settle the cases and the parties don't have to wait the time length that they do for the investigation. So stay tuned for the updates about the ADR unit. We do have other positions that will become available later on in the year, that in October, we have the funding that will be available for someone to start in October. And so we are planning for those positions, and we'll be working sometime soon in order to post those positions, with the understanding that those positions won't start until October. I had the honor to speak, I think last month, at a symposium that the Baltimore County Commission on Veterans Affairs and the Baltimore County Commission on Women did jointly, and I was able to share about military status, as well as just kind of what the commission, who the commission is, how the commission can be a resource, what the commission is seeing, and how the commission is still here and able to help Maryland residents despite what's happening on the federal level. So I was honored to be able to speak to the Baltimore County community that was present. I think that is all that I have, unless anyone has any questions based upon the case processing data report or any other questions for me.
I did
Please,
want to
I missed
acknowledge,
something.
I did want to acknowledge, and I apologize, Yolanda, because I didn't acknowledge you and the fact that you have been designated as one of the top 100 women with the daily record. I had the opportunity to attend that ceremony for Yolanda, so I did want to acknowledge her as well. That she was listed as one of the top 100 women with the daily record. So Yolanda, congratulations on that as well.
Thank you, Cleveland. And that actually, I appreciate you saying that, because someone came up to me after the ceremony and said, I have a case there. So I started bracing myself because I didn't know what was going to be said. And it was the best compliment to one of our investigators, and how it was an attorney that was representing one of the parties, and how one of our investigators was able to be patient. He was able to listen, make sure everyone felt heard. He was able to work with both of the parties and get the case settled. And it was an awesome compliment to get. It was at the end of the day, end of the night. And I thanked her, because so often, people they don't have any problems with bringing complaints, and we accept those complaints, but we also like to receive the compliments. And so I told her I greatly appreciated her bringing that to us. And I also let our investigator, I let him know as well. And, he was touched that someone, thought that much to actually come after hours to me and give and sing his praises. So thank you, Cleveland. That just kind of jogged my memory. So thank you. If no questions for me, who's the microphone going to?
It's going to the woman of the hour, the one that everybody always comes here to listen to, and that would be Nicolette, the money lady.
The money lady. All righty.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you all had a very nice weekend. Would like to welcome our newest commissioner, Commissioner Prescott. Our agency will be contacting you because we need to get some information on how to process your per diem. So we'll be sending you an email this week. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the agency has expended, through April 30th, the agency has expended 85.7% of its budget. We are working with DBM to determine if there are going to have to be any reversions for year end. So we'll absolutely let you know when we get that information. As Yolanda mentioned, we do have some new positions that will be coming on board. Contractuals will be July 1st, and the additional positions, the permanent positions, will be coming on board October 1st. We will start that recruitment over the summertime, so we will be sending you all that recruitment posting when we're ready to start that recruitment. As was previously mentioned, the Civil Rights Gala will be held on August 23rd. So if you can drum up some advertising, some marketing for us, so we can get a nice turnout, that would be greatly appreciated. And I am happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Nicolette. Saying none, we will pass it over to our General Counsel, Glendora Hughes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Commissioner Prescott. Just a couple of things. I will go in deep dive in the case that Cleveland basically took all the thunder out as usual, but we'll do an executive session so that when I discuss it in more detail, since it is still a pending case. Also, on the issue of AI, we use Westlaw as our legal research engine, and they have incorporated an AI system in Westlaw, which is a really great system. They have guardrails that require the, as they call, machine to only utilize the data that is contained in their database and their libraries. But they also have attorneys who oversee and manage the machine in their subject matter areas so that you don't get what they call an AI hallucinations, which is the AI making up things to please you. And and one of the things that you have to be careful in picking the software, picking a vendor and picking the system is to make sure there are those guardrails and that the data, the data that's being put in is going to be reliable, because you put bad data in, you'll get bad data out. There's tendency to think that AI is this miracle, but it does require, which why jobs are not going away, human contact and involvement to assess and make sure that you're getting accurate information. So Westlaw has added a research AI that assists with research. And then they also have what they call co-counsel, which is another feature that assists with drafting pleadings and briefs and motions, which watching it in action, and it would significantly cut down time in research and writing, answering motions and filing motions and writing briefs. And presently we have a free test until June, and the staff is utilizing on some of our motions and some of our things that we have to respond to see how it works. And they have offered multiple trainings as to how, again, that's another feature to help cut down time and processing, and assist us in moving cases, or being able, in reality for us, we have to compete in the marketplace with firms and government agencies who have AI, and they're using it. Even the courts are using AI in state courts. A large percentage of state courts, I believe Maryland, the Attorney General's office is going online with AI. So it is not only something you want to have to assist, but you need to have to compete and to be able to address these things at the same time as your competitors are, or you're the other side who are representing the respondents in our cases. And then also we need to learn it in order to investigate it, because you have respondents utilizing it to screen people in landlord-tenant cases, to screen people in hiring cases. And we need to understand how that works in order to conduct the investigation to determine whether or not there's discriminatory actions being taken based on bad information, and or that it's deliberate. And we're seeing that popping up in our housing cases, where landlords are saying, oh, we didn't do it, the software did it, and the AI screened it out. We're objective. No, it's not. And we have to understand the lay of the land in order to investigate and address those challenges now in our present state of things. The only other thing I would point out is that in terms of what is happening in the federal government and what is happening, what can we do? What can the state do? I have participated and listened to a couple of webinars. The Labor and Employment Law section of the Maryland State Bar, which I'm a member of, they did a lunch and learn on dealing with the federal government's employment law related executive orders and how to address them and what kinds of sharing, what kind of actions the private bar it has brought in response. And also many of them who are plaintiffs' counsel talking about saying they're drowning. They have an extreme amount of inquiries or extreme amount of folks coming to them seeking advice and seeking representation to get their jobs back. And they're probably more management side than there are plaintiff side. But there are some management side firms that are beginning to do both to address, particularly if they don't have federal contracts and they're not involved with the federal representing federal agencies or the federal government, then they are looking at trying to take on some of these cases. There has been organizing among attorneys who, even attorneys who normally don't do civil rights or don't do this kind of work. I've gone to a meeting where they are attempting, one is to protect the Constitution and protecting the law, and looking in terms of holding attorneys accountable for their oath of that we take to protect the Constitution, and seeing some of the behavior that has been taking place by attorneys looking into bringing grievances. In some of the states, they have brought grievances against attorneys for lying to the court, for misrepresenting the facts to the court, for disobeying orders of the court. Those are clear violations of the oath that you took, and also for a grievance you can file with the Bar Association. So there are a lot of things that are happening on the ground, and I attempt to be involved to see what's going on, to hear what's going on, to see where we can be a part of. And one of the thoughts is educating the public about their rights. And I think our Know Your Rights book is right on point, because a lot of people are, because this, of the massive amount of executive orders and attacks, people don't know what to do and where to go. And there's a lot of confusion. And one of the things is to let people know what their rights are. So those are some of the things, and I will dive into the case when we go in executive session. But I do want to say that Terrence Artis, who's the attorney who had that case, that was a 2-year and still ticking battle. And as I go into the details, that you have no idea what a frustrating thing. And I also have to give kudos to the entire legal team, because it was a team effort as well, particularly our paralegal, Jaya Underwood, who did a lot of the work, the gut work that needs to be done when you're in litigation, and assisting Terrence in many of things. And then we also, the complainants counsel, Omar, who represented the complainant, he also contributed a great deal in terms of moving this case along. So I will provide you more details when we go in executive session. Any questions?
I have a question. You stated that we should provide education to the public about their rights. Is there any consideration to providing education to employers and other entities so that we can be proactive in making sure that they're aware of their obligations, because there's two sides to the coin?
Well, we have our education and outreach unit, and our director, Candace Crenshaw, can tell you specifically what they are doing, but that is part of their charge. Their mission is to go out and not only provide rights and information to persons who may be potentially victims of discrimination, but to a large portion is to go into the community and educate landlords and employers and nonprofits as to what the laws are and what is prohibited, and specific substantive areas that we covered, such as our protected classes and Title 20. And they're constantly, weekly out in the community and taking requests and going to those employers who reach out and want training, and doing each month doing a general training on particular subject matters, particular groups. And they do a great job in providing an enormous amount. When she gives a report, you'll see some of the work that they do in terms of educating and outreach to not only potential victims of discrimination, but potential offenders in non-compliance.
And I appreciate that. And I will just say, as someone who works with employers on a regular basis, I would be interested to know how employers become aware of that, because that's not something that I've seen in my work. So I would definitely like to see that so that I can help the people that I work with be able to access that and utilize that if that's a resource that's available.
Absolutely. And we do try to put a lot of things on the website and a link that connects you to Candace. But she will give you a lot of information when she does her report. No questions? Then I guess I'll toss it over to Candace.
Thank you, Ms. Glendora. Good morning, everyone. How are you all today? All right,
We're
sounds
doing
good.
great. We're doing
We
great.
are doing great. Thanks for the
Thank you.
sunshine, Candace.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Welcome, Commissioner Prescott. We're so happy to have you join us today. And thank you to our guests from the public as well. Again, I am Candace Crenshaw, Director of Education and Outreach here with the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. So as you've seen in our report, during the month of April, Fair Housing Month, we hosted a Fair Housing webinar series every Wednesday of the month. And we also hosted our Fair Housing Forum. So our audience were realtors, real estate agents, realtor professionals, brokers, appraisers, lenders, and we were really happy to have our audience to be who they were so that we can ensure that they're aware of their rights in fair housing. So we served a total of 276 individuals via webinar and in person. So that was a huge success. We had a great group of panelists that are always willing to work with us. And as Ms. G just mentioned, we've been facilitating trainings and workshops about 2 to 3 times a week. And Commissioner Prescott, to your point as well, we have, if you see on our report, we facilitated training sexual harassment prevention, know your rights. This is MCCR to a couple of businesses and entities so that their staff were aware of their rights as well. But we do have one-pagers. We also, as Ms. G mentioned, have links on the website. So we can always send that out to the commissioner so that you all can share with your networks of any organizations or employers that are interested or need to, be aware of what we're doing, because people are still learning who we are. So we also, for the month of May, is Asian American Pacific Islander Month, and we are collaborating with the Asian Pacific Legal Resource Center, and we'll have a webinar on May 21st during lunchtime, and then we also have a tour the week after on May 27th at the Smithsonian. So we invite everyone out to come and join us as we celebrate and highlight Asian American Pacific Islander Month. During the month of April with our trainings, I left this part out, but I also wanted to highlight that I facilitated a training around inclusive language and dimensions of diversity with Frostburg State University with Dr. Elisha Ruminski's class. And it was about a class of about 20 to 30 students. So it was great to highlight our training and around some civil rights issues, just so that they are aware, because people are still continuously learning who we are. Outside of facilitating our trainings, we are still building our listening sessions as well. As you may know, we started our listening sessions last April in Western Maryland. We facilitated a virtual listening session with the Eastern Shore and Southern Maryland. So you will receive information on our listening sessions coming up with Anne Arundel County and Baltimore City. We also are working nonstop with the gala. And as you know, we do encourage each of our commissioners to purchase tables and tickets so that people can be aware of what we're highlighting around civil rights. We do want to highlight that it's not just a celebration. We're not just having a party, but we want to highlight what's going on in the community and in our state around civil rights. So it is important that we have everyone, all hands on deck, to ensure that we can get our ticket sales up so that we can celebrate together and then just highlight everything that we're doing. Also, we are in the midst of all of those things, planning our Maryland Leadership and Advocacy Program, MLAP. As you know, in the past, we've had our Maryland Equity and Inclusion Leadership Program with University of Baltimore, and we cut ties. So now we are facilitating our own Maryland Leadership and Advocacy Program. I will ensure that everyone receives our one-pagers, because we do have a form for individuals who are interested in participating, if they want to be a participant or if they want to be a sponsor or a speaker. And the same with our Civil Rights Leadership Program and our Young Scholars Program. So our education and outreach associates are working tirelessly to ensure that we are staying on top of everything and putting out our programs. We want to make sure that we are facilitating everything that is on our websites. I can't think of anything else. I'm trying not to read everything that I put on our report, but if you have any questions, now is the time. And if there's anything that we need to dive into offline, I'm open to that as well. Any questions?
That's a comment, Candice. Thank you so much for your great report. This is Magdalena. And I just wanted to ask you to please send us a little more information about the, I think it was the
Asian American Pacific Islander.
Pacific
Yes.
Islander. And in particular, many of you know that all the agencies are prohibited to celebrate diversity. Therefore, the groups that were putting these events together cannot do it, but it is a great opportunity for this commission putting these events together and then bringing the celebration to those that cannot do it themselves. So is there a fee for that event that you were mentioning?
No, there's no fee. So our webinar, there's no fee. Everyone can log in. And then when we visit the Smithsonian, there's no fee, and we have a tour guide.
Okay.
But there is no fee. And also, Commissioner Prescott, I know I wanted to highlight our trainings are free also. But I can ensure that you have details so that, you know, we can connect around employers and employees that you work with. And thank you, Commissioner Navarro. Any other questions?
Candace, I just put in, and for the commissioners, and I just put in the link to our events page, which takes you right to the webinar, the registration for the webinar, and the afternoon at the Smithsonian.
Thank you, Yolanda.
So I do have a quick question, and I guess the events page, that's great. The fact that things are happening is great, but how do people know to go there? How do they know that this is the place that they need to go to look for it? How is that getting in front of people proactively? Because in order for me to go to this page and register, I have to know it's here.
Absolutely. So lately, a lot of our information has been disseminated word of mouth and our events. So for example, word of mouth, we post on LinkedIn, Instagram, X/Twitter, Facebook. We also, our education and outreach associates, we have 2 education and outreach associates and myself. We visit nursing homes, we collaborate with schools, we reach out to them. Once we connect with them, then they let other people know, word of mouth, and inform them so that they can connect with us. We also have our listserv. We send out information on our listserv, and then a lot of people find out from other people. On our Eventbrite is public. So when we post something on Eventbrite, whether or not someone is in our if they've followed our page or not, it still pops up publicly. But we're visiting. We literally, our team, they'll drive to White Plains, we'll drive to Western Maryland, we'll drive to Frederick. So we are literally just, the last couple of years, we've been putting ourselves out there on a greater scale by physically going to different places. We're going to libraries in the different counties. So word of mouth via social media, and we are doing our best to ensure that we're visiting different entities and places so that people are aware of us. A lot of people, again, are still learning about who MCCR is. Some people don't know where to go, but we have been putting our faces out there physically, literally at festivals, reaching out to individuals and organizations so that we are making sure our presence is known. I hope that answers your question. And I see in the comments, how are the education and outreach information activities distributed to other state agencies? So we collaborate with other state agencies and reach out to them. For example, we collaborate with the Attorney General's office, the governor's office, and also in our local jurisdictions in each county. They usually have a human rights agency. So Howard County, Southern Maryland, Prince George's County, Baltimore City, Baltimore County. So we connect and collaborate with other agencies and share information with them. I meet with agencies and collaborate and just schedule meetings so that people are aware of who we are. So we're literally just putting ourselves out there. A couple of years ago, and I know that everyone is not on social media, but a couple of years ago, we had about 300 followers. Now we're over 1,000 followers. So you can see that our data has increased and changed with us just spreading education and awareness more. And if anyone has any suggestions, I'm free and open to that as well if you want to email me. But we have been hitting the ground running in a major way. Thank you for your questions. Anyone else? Thank you.
To the mute. I just wanted to also add that one of the things that as commissioners we try to do and should be doing is making sure that we're amplifying those announcements and messaging across, and I'm sorry, hold on.
Bless you.
I have allergies, and so I get that drip. Across our social networks, across our professional networks, across, the different groups that we are aware of and work with and everything else. So while obviously Candace does an amazing job and is out there and active, I think one of our biggest roles as commissioners is to make sure that we're doing that supportive work and helping to push that out. Sorry, soapbox.
Really quickly, to that point, do you tag commissioners in posts? Do you forward events? How does that happen?
Yes, Commissioner Prescott, we do. So we tag a lot of times when we collaborate on events, I'll let them know like, hey, we want to collaborate, because on social media, when you collaborate, it pops up on both pages. But yes, we tag, we email, we'll message, and we do our best to connect in every way. When we do have events, for example, April was Fair Housing Month. We'll have everyone's headshots, connect with everyone, send it to them so that they can post it as well, highlighting us as we highlight them. Our galas, we're 102 days away from our gala. So we're going to put the headshots up of our guests and tag everyone. And it really works. We've increased our followers on all platforms, over 600 followers, and in the last year and a half or so. So yes, we do tag, and we get on meetings. So a lot of times our staff, we on Fridays, we have get to know E&O. So we invite everyone to meetings to collaborate with us if they want to sign up for trainings and collaborate via social media as well. And again, we do visit nursing homes. We were in Hartford, Cecil County, and also in Severn, Maryland, because a lot of our older Americans they're like, hey, I'm not on social media. How can I find out about you? So we'll go there, make sure we're dropping off flyers and just informing them, or calling their front desk and emailing them information so that they can print it out, because we want to make sure we're hitting everyone. Everyone is not on social media. Commissioner Navarro, I see you said who is going to be the main speaker at the gala. So this year we are changing our approach. We're not going to have a specific keynote speaker, but we're doing a fireside chat. And at this time, we are finalizing the contract to have Tamika Mallory as one of our fireside chat guests. And that was just confirmed, so you will see the flyer soon.
Y'all gonna make me talk again?
Nope. There are no other questions. I think, Madam Chair, that concludes the staff reports.
Excellent. One quick second. Again, I have way too many things open. You guys are used to me by now.
Madam Chair, were you talking about talk again in this one or at the gala?
I was just joking around. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. Everybody knows I love to speak. So now we're going to move into old new business. Obviously, I hope we've done a good job of letting everyone know that we have a new commissioner. And I hope you guys join me in welcoming Commissioner Prescott. And I very much look forward to working with her. Again, I apologize. I will make sure I get some time on our calendar. It's just been a little crazy. Right now, I work in higher ed. So there you go. And then Cleveland, I would like for you to introduce the topic that we talked about as far as what our goals are. And then I'd like to talk very briefly about we will follow up. We're not going to try to schedule it now on scheduling our commissioners meeting to discuss our priorities, both from last planning session and then moving forward. So Cleveland, may I turn it over to you, please?
Yeah, and we're talking about the legislative piece, right, Madam Chair?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
So part of what me and Madam Chair discussed was trying to make sure that we start engaging in this conversation around legislative priorities earlier and earlier, right? We do want to make sure that we have a defined legislative priority agenda as we enter into the summer and approaching the next session. Because what that does for all of us is it gives us the opportunity to enter into conversations with legislators, organizations around our priorities, and to be able to establish those collaborations that we need to move forward in different areas. We recognized that last year when we met and created our legislative priorities, we weren't really able to address those particular priorities because the state was in a budget deficit, right? So the priority was just maintaining a status quo and making sure that our agency didn't get cut. And that was really the gist across the board with most major initiatives, was that if there was a fiscal note, most of those bills died on arrival, right? So this year we thought that when me and Madam Chair discussed establishing our legislative priority agenda for this year, that we may not need a long conversation around the priorities. We thought that it'd be a great opportunity for us to potentially just reaffirm what our legislative priorities were for last year, and duplicate them again for this year so that we can move forward in that particular area. So I will go through the ones that I have.
Actually, Cleveland, let's
Yes,
do
ma'am.
that when we schedule the meeting.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
So
so
we, Madam Chair, will schedule a meeting to kind of go through what those legislative priorities were from last year so that you all can hopefully reaffirm those. Our goal was, we did last year, we met in person. It was always a good opportunity for us to, anytime we can be in front of each other, we love to see each other and sit across from each other. If we're going to do, I guess, a reaffirming, Madam Chair, it's up to you whether you want to do that virtually or in person. You can decide what's the best way to do that.
I would actually like to, unless anybody has a significant concern about it, I would actually like to have that in person. I think those conversations are great to have. They tend to be interactive, even if it is just a reaffirmation and thinking about what we want for this year, but then we can also start really laying the groundwork for thinking about 5-year and long-term goals strategically. We also want to talk a little bit and revisit some of the conversations that we had that we didn't necessarily get to as far as data collection to be able to make some ongoing decisions about priorities. So I think those conversations are best in person. If MCCR will open its doors to us.
Of course, of course.
I personally am not going to be able to do this until starting in June, just because of travel plans. I recognize that we're going into the summer. So if everybody can sort of start looking at their calendars, see if there are any hard no's that are out there, and then we can facilitate getting that meeting together. I'm excited. I really am. When, Cleveland said, let's actually do the reaffirmation and meet about this, I'm really, really delighted that we're moving these things up and that we can have a more meaningful conversation, that we can start thinking about implementation, operationalization. So thank you, Cleveland.
No problem. Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, we'd like to have the meeting as soon as possible. So the earlier in June, the better. We do want it to try to be as accommodating to everybody's schedule as possible. But it is important for us to engage in the conversation as early as possible so that we can get started with, again, approaching folks, having the conversations, getting folks together to talk about how we accomplish this as we continue to move forward. So if you all can let us know what your schedules are like for June, hopefully early June, we can get that again scheduled on the calendar for folks to come here to the commission and have that meeting.
And I'd like to have us look at it like a half a day. I don't want to schedule a full day. We will do it in person and then adjust as necessary. As everybody recalls, the last one was supposed to be in person and I was virtual because I had COVID. So we all recognize things happen, and we will be as accommodating for everybody to participate as possible.
Yeah, I think the last time actually I think we did 9 to 12, and then we had lunch afterwards. So
yep,
we can kind of do it the same way.
Yep, perfect. So like I said, if you have any hard no's, those first 2 and then into the 3rd week of June, please let us know so we can avoid that, and then we can send out a poll and find the time where it is most convenient for critical mass for most of us to attend.
I'll have Spencer send something out to coordinate the schedule so that we can get that done ASAP.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other new business?
The only other thing, Madam Chair, that we we can talk offline. We'll talk about it offline because we will need to add something to that conversation that has presented itself recently. But I think that me and you need to have the conversation first, and then we can talk about it with the larger group.
That sounds great. And Jensen just put in the chat that he has a 11:30. So if we need to do a closed session, I would like to move forward with that unless there's any questions, concerns, comments that we need to address here. I absolutely was just about to say, for our guest speakers, is there anything you'd like to add? Any questions that you have before we would move into closed session? Magdalena, you read my mind. Thank you very much, Natalie Holder, for joining us. We hope you come back and join us again in the future as well. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we appreciate you coming as well. I hope you enjoyed it. And please do come back and join us again.
Will do.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so for executive session, if I could get a motion, a second, and a vote, then I can end the recording.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can we please move to executive session?